Alright, got a 2012, it's a 2500 Duramax. Just pulled this EGR cooler out, and I wanted to make a video because there's not really any good videos out there that show you the easiest way, at least the easiest way that I've found to get these things out. And if this is something you don't do every day, just think and eat your lunch. So I'm not gonna go over pulling this simple stuff out, the crossover pipe and the intake and that good stuff. That's gonna be the relatively simple stuff compared to when you get to the cooler. So the hard part is gonna be the 4 bolts that are in the back. And you can see I still got one sitting back there, that heat shield's holding it in. But so when you get to these back 4 bolts, that top one and then the 2 towards the bottom, and then there's that other one off the side that's going to attach to that bracket. First of all, that bottom one right there, most of them you're going to need to put a pry bar back there and just bend that heat shield out of the way at least far enough so that you can get a wrench on it. And then what I do is I just take a short wrench. Alright, and so get it on there when it's in the truck, and so it'll be, sitting up like this. And then what I do is I take a big pry bar and I stick it in and I leverage on top of the firewall and just pry down. Most time these nuts and bolts aren't going to be extremely tight. It really doesn't even take too much pressure on this pry bar to at least get that initial breaking loose for that nut and bolt. And then another trick you can do is, if you don't have a good position for your pry bar, a 1/2-inch extension fits really well into the open end part of this 13 mil. So you can have your wrench on there and just stick that extension in there, and you can use this leverage now to break these nuts and bolts loose. And this short wrench with the pry bar or the extension is the only thing that I use to get these 4 nuts and bolts loose in the back, and it works every time, and it is so much easier than any other method that I've tried. So I definitely recommend that if you're taking this cooler out. And now here's the trick. So once you get everything loose and you can move this whole cooler assembly inside the truck, getting to these 4 12 mil bolts with everything sitting flat inside the truck, it's going to be pretty well impossible. But what you can do once everything is loose is just grab this whole assembly and you can tilt it up enough to where I just take my impact with a short extension and zip these 4 bolts out, then pull this part of your cooler out first, and then you can pull this out. And don't worry about trying to get that coolant hose off the back. Just take it off by the pipe up where there's a lot more room to work, and then you can pull this out as an assembly, and you can pull this out as an assembly, and then you're done.